Hi, my name is Frank Schaefer, and I'm in Holland with a group of students who are studying international law. And you know, when you are out of our country, outside of the United States, and you're talking to people who are looking at what's going on with Donald Trump and the Republican Party turning into a cult rather than a party, and a group of senators selling out our country, except for one brave Republican, Mitt Romney, who stood up for what was right. And they begin to ask you questions about what is going on in our country. The sense of shame I feel as an American citizen whose son fought for my country as a U.S. Marine in Afghanistan, in 2 tours of duty and 1 in Iraq. The sense of shame I feel as a citizen who looks to the benefit of being an American, this privilege that I have. The sense of shame I feel as someone whose great ancestor on my mother's side was the second mate on the second voyage of the Mayflower, believe it or not. The sense of shame I feel as someone who has raised 3 grown children and is working with my 5 grandchildren to help them realize what it is to be a full human being and someone created in the image of God. The sense of shame I feel when I watch Melania Trump put this high honor that America awards, the highest civilian honor, around the neck of this human pig known as Rush Limbaugh that I knew back in the day when I too was in the right wing, when I was in the religious right as the sidekick of my father Francis Schaefer, as we sold our souls to trying to politicize Christianity out of all recognition, which was horribly achieved in the election of Donald Trump and now continues. The sense of shame here in Holland is palpable. How to explain that we now have a president who has acted like a pimp, turning all Americans into his whore. He wrote a check to a porn star that he had slept with while he was married to the woman who just pinned this medal around somebody's neck, put this medal around their neck to honor this liar, this person who hatched the conspiracy theory along with others that President Barack Obama was not born in the United States, this racist who has denigrated black people through his whole career, Rush Limbaugh. When you see this Jabba the Hutt, this slobbering fool, followed by ignorant Americans, honored in our Congress, while a president looks into the camera and lies again and again and again about his achievements, turns what should have been a dignified event into a campaign rally, the sense of shame is just palpable. How to explain? Well, the only way I can explain it to these Dutch students as I talk to them is that in the affairs of human beings, there's a tide in the affairs of men that when taken at the flood leads on to fortune, as Shakespeare said. But in addition to that, there's also a tide in the affairs of men when the stupidity, the original sin, if you're a Calvinist Christian, as I was raised to be, the culpability of human failings and frailties come to a head. Standing here in Holland, where there are monuments to those who were put up against the wall and shot by the Nazis who marched in here not long ago before Americans pushed them out. Standing here where Jews were rounded up in this little town I'm in, where 154 people were sent off to concentration camps. History is not a joke. The direction of history towards the kind of nationalist fascism represented by Donald Trump, this corruption that he represents, that is simply one family profiting out of the office of the presidency. The Republican Party having totally sold out and lost its moorings to the point where it's now a personality cult, working feverishly to keep this man in office for 4 more years. The fact that he is now unleashed by his acquittal. These things add up to a national crisis. And so I'd like to end simply by begging my American friends, those that I'll be returning to in a couple of days, to stop fooling around with our own version of personality cults in the Democratic Party. Those who will only follow Bernie Sanders, those who are sure that Bernie Sanders would be a disaster and we need to have Joe Biden or someone else come in and save us from the left. Those on the right in the Republican Party who are frightened of what might happen if a progressive is elected or vice versa. We need to put this behind us and realize we are in a national crisis. History will not forgive Democrats any more than it will forgive Republicans if we waste the opportunity to defeat Donald Trump. You could You could elect an inert object or any passing child and come off better than what we've got now. So please, don't squander it in the primaries. Don't be so fervently for Bernie Sanders you won't work for anybody else. Don't be so fervently committed to Elizabeth Warren or Pete Buttigieg or anyone else. We've got to all pull together now. The game is over, folks. We don't have the luxury now of doing anything except getting this pig out of office with Rush Limbaugh and Melania and the whole rest of the gang. We need to fight, stand up, and depose this incipient tyranny of sludge, of lowlifes who are overwhelming us. Thank you. My name is Frank Schaefer.